all that, yeah. But might do a separate video for that. All right, Roger Jackson, Rampage Jackson's son, former UFC champion, Rampage Jackson's son, it showed up to a professional wrestling event in the Indies, and basically a series of events led to him punching a man who was unconscious 20 times in the face before he was removed from the ring. That man, reports are saying that man is awake, but he choked on his own blood and his own teeth, and it was a pretty badass whooping. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was really bad. And when you watch it, it's hard to watch. I am an MMA fan, and I've watched some bad stoppages where the person got to punch the other person too long. And after about 7 punches, you start, come on, ref, what are you doing? So by the time he hit number 12, you know what I'm saying? Like, it started to get hard to watch a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And how did we get here, and what's going to happen, and how is the internet reacting to it? I feel like all of this is a series of misunderstandings. That doesn't take away the blame from Raja. It doesn't take away the blame from the company that allowed this to happen. It doesn't take away the blame from our society that I feel like has set the table for things like this to happen. Violence for the purpose of entertainment and old school just instigating. You know what I'm saying? And so, long story short, Roger showed up to the backstage area because he does streaming in real life. They carry cameras around and they just follow him around and carry out his own day. That in of itself, to me, never made any sense. I know Kai Cenat is a millionaire. All these other dudes are millionaires. Aiden Ross, you name them. But something has never sat right with me. And every time I've spoken up about live streaming, if someone's come to like stomp on my opinion, like, oh, you just jealous, oh, you just hating. But something about having a camera on somebody for hours straight, 24 hours straight, is not good. I mean, it's like niggas saw the Truman Show with Jim Carrey and thought, yeah, it just totally didn't understand. Like, there is something wrong with this. And I'll go a step further. I've always thought reality TV, there's something wrong with that. Because it's not actual reality. You're not reacting how you would react if that camera wasn't there. I'll go even a step further. Shout outs to my nephew. Rajan Reacts. If you like reactors, go watch his stuff. Or not Rajan. Rashid Reacts. Ra Reacts. My other nephew, Rajan. Shout out to him. It's just him on the screen laughing real hard and yelling about what you're watching. Now, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes he in particular is funny. Shout out to my man Stunner. Sometimes it's entertainment. But in general, I have an issue with you just showing your reactions for the camera. You're only being that extra because the camera's there. That's not your natural reaction. You're fake reacting. You know what I'm saying? It's like when someone plays a song and you listen to it for the first time and the camera's there. You don't want to just be... Because that's how you might actually listen to a song. But if the camera's there, what's the fat nigga's name? Yeah, Queens. He's going to throw the fucking hat in the air. He's going to punch his son in the face. He's going to jump out the car and do cartwheels and shit. And it might be elicit a laugh, but it's not real. It's not actual reality. And I feel like, okay, we'll get to it. So, there's too many Ra's in my life. I got Rashid, Rajan. What's his name? Rajan? Raja Jackson shows up Raja Jackson shows up. He gets hit with a can by a professional wrestler. The professional wrestler had this misunderstanding. He thought that he was there as a wrestler and he was calling out another wrestler. It was a mistake. Raja got really upset, but they calmed it down. And the guy, the wrestler in question, Syco Stu, apologized. Later on that night, the wrestlers told Raja, hey, you can get it back in the ring. Go in the ring and hit him with a real punch. Or hit him To say what they said exactly, they said get back in the ring, and I think he said light him up. He didn't even say receipt. He just said, hey, when you get in the, tag him. That's what he said. Tag his shit. When you get in the ring, tag his shit. And if he don't like it or he try to fight back, I'll come out there. These are what the wrestlers, the people that work there, told him. So then, in the hours leading up to that particular scene or that spot, he's typing to his chat, and the chat is steady instigating. Like, you's a bitch. Why'd you let him hit you in the head with the can? Mind you, it didn't hurt because he did it like for fake. Like, he crushed the can as he was hitting him in the head and threw it in the air just to make it look like something happened. And Raja was supposed to react like a wrestler, and he didn't because he's not a wrestler. So the chat was like, oh, you's a bitch. Why are you letting this happen? He was like, oh, I'm not a bitch. You think I'm a bitch? I'm not a bitch. I'm going to show you I'm not a bitch. And then, unfortunately, Rampage Jackson called his son and said, yo, what's going on? And instead of like directing him as a father should, he started clowning him too. Started saying, I heard you was in there hugging with another man in some tights. And all the time, Rampage calls his own son names and cracks jokes on him. That's Rampage's humor. But at a certain point, like, jokes are fine, but like, your job is to be a father. And so Rampage got on the phone and hyped him up too by calling him names, calling him gay, calling him all types of shit out his name. And then when it's his turn to go in there, his adrenaline's pumped up. He jumps in the ring. He slams Syco Stu onto the ground, which when you rewind in and look at it, he knocked him out off the slam. He slammed him on the ground. And by the way, Syco Stu is not a small guy. He's an older guy, looks like to be out of shape, but he's not a small guy. He was letting Rampage's son is like 165 pounds, something like that. Like, he fights around there. Yeah, he's not a big guy. So Syco Stu was letting him do it. He was working. He was allowing him to do it because they informed him that, hey, he's going to run in the ring and we're going to shoot this spot. When Rampage picked him up, or Rampage's son picked him up, he slammed him in the ground at such a velocity and angle that it knocked him out. And then while he was knocked out, unfortunately, he beat the shit out of him. He beat his teeth down his throat, literally. He choked on his own blood and teeth. And he hit him about with 20 unanswered shots. There's no telling what would have happened if someone didn't pull him off. They actually told Raja to, hey, get on top of him, start punching him, we'll pull you off. But it seems that no one in the ring realized till about punch 20 that these were actual real punches. He wasn't like faking them. He was actually hitting him. And when you see it on camera, it seems so obvious. But in the moment, you might just think, damn, this nigga's really good at wrestling. Woo! Those are the best punches I ever seen in the wrestling ring. Yeah, and I'll go in depth. I'm probably going to have to. There's so many layers to this story that I'm probably going to have to break it down like in maybe 3 or 4 different videos. Because I could put out one 60-minute long video, but there's just too much to talk about. So, what I want to talk about in this video is, if you haven't seen the footage, go look it up. YouTube has banned it now. If you put it in your video, they're going to make it so that only plus 18 people can see it. So it's not worth it to put in your video. Plus, it's just damn near, just watching someone get beat to unconsciousness. Syco Stu is back up. But the internet is a roar about this incident and how you should feel about it. And I feel that it's all about framing and how you feel about Rampage's son when you see him. And then what you feel about the business that he was in. There's racial aspects, there's societal aspects, the way a wrestling fan looks at it, the way a MMA fan looks at it, then the way a professional wrestler looks at it, the way a professional MMA fighter looks at it. It's all completely different. And I feel like there's a lot of people online that's like, but he hit him in the head with a can. That doesn't justify what he did. You know what I mean? Like, there's people, even my broadcast partner, Phil, he's saying like, hey, if you hit me or you do something to me, you disrespect me, my disrespect back to you or my retaliation, you can't tell me how I can retaliate. I don't agree with that. There is a line, and if you cross that line, you're going into the territory of of illegal, and you may go to jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, or you like he could have killed him, and I don't think faking a can crush on somebody's head is worth death.
Yeah, but that's the point I think he was trying to make, though. Is that like the other person could decide this isn't jail isn't the consequence I'm worried about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you don't know what is important to the other person at the end of the day. Like I feel like it was more so just it came from a confusion of situation. But I'll stop talking.
Yeah, and I feel like I see what Phil is saying, because in real life, when you're in the moment, you have to operate that way, because you could die. You could be the one who's given the death. So you have to give respect. You have to treat people a certain way. You have to not do things to other people, because their response may be an overreaction, and it may lead to your poor health or death even. But my point is just that these are the unwritten rules for a reason. We can't get in front of a camera and say that, hey, you idiot, you should have known you could have got beat to death when you did a half a can hit on his head. That's not justifiable in my opinion. There's a reason why these are unwritten rules. You see what I'm saying? And so the rules that govern society say, hey, polite society, when he shook your hand and apologized and you accepted his apology, that should have been it. So there's a lot of people online that's saying that. There's just a lot of people that's saying, hey, he shook your hand and apologized. You are the worst person on earth, because at that point, you then got retribution hours later. And they're trying to say this is premeditated murder or attempted premeditated murder. This is blah, blah, blah. And I feel like those people go too far in another direction too, because whether he's culpable in the court of law is up to the judge and justice to decide. But, or, you know, he's going to, if they press charges, if the state brings charges, then, you know, we'll let them decide that. But what I'm trying to say is, like, there's extenuating circumstances here. And how you frame the story is how people are going to feel about it. If I just say, hey, this guy faked threw a can at his head and he got offended, they shook hands and said, I apologize, and then 2 hours later, he damn near beat the guy to death, you're going to be like, well, put that guy in jail immediately. But if I say, hey, this is a 26-year-old guy who a week or maybe a few days earlier, but about a week earlier, got kicked in the head while he was on a live stream, and then was concussed and was told not to come back to the gym or have any active workouts because he has a concussion. Meaning, once you have a concussion, you don't make decisions the same way you would anymore. You're out of your right mind, right? I'm not saying this as a justification. I'm just adding context. And then you say he shows up to stream, and then a guy he doesn't know anything about wrestling. He knows probably as much as the average person knows. He knows it's not real. The guy he doesn't know walks up and hits him on a can over his head as soon as he walks into the area that the other wrestlers are in, right? And then now he feels disrespected, and he's been embarrassed on the internet because he almost got knocked out on his live stream, and people have been making memes and calling him names. His own father didn't call him names about that particular thing, but calls him names all the time. And then two wrestlers come up to him and tell him, hey, you can get involved in this match. You've never been trained to wrestle. You've never been involved in a match before, but you can get involved in this match and get retribution. And then in the meantime, while he's thinking about what he's going to do in the match, he even said it on the stream. He was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to pick him up and slam him. And then they come and tell you, hey, you know, give him a receipt. Hey, we'll hit him until we pull you off. And then you're on the live chat, and the chat is gassing you up and instigating. Then you get in the ring and you explode. I'm not saying it justifies it. Let justice be served. Whatever led to those actions, they had the consequence that they had. So you were responsible for those consequences. Even if you are 25, even if you are 26, I still consider that a young man, but you know, you're responsible for your actions. So yeah, he may get in some trouble. But what I'm saying is the vitriol that I see on the internet, that is like, oh, he's an animal. It goes too far. And it crosses over into what I feel is what I was saying in the beginning. You're looking at this black kid. How do you feel about black people? How do you feel about crime in America? How do you feel about violence? Are you willing to look the other way when it's a different type of person, a different looking person? Are you willing to give some context? You know what I mean? A dude gets bullied and shoots up a school, and they use the picture of him when he was in the 4th grade, and he shot up the school in the 12th grade, because you're taking, oh, what could lead to somebody to do this kind of thing? All of a sudden, we care about what's in the mind of serial killers and how they were raised and what their fathers did to them. But when it comes to someone doing a single act of violence, we're supposed to just consider them an animal. Where does that come from? And this is what I'm talking about. I'm trying to provide context. And I see like a lot of MMA fighters that are just saying, damn, tough break on me. Like, damn, I'm sorry it happened that way, but shit, you shouldn't have hit him with the can. I've seen a lot of professional wrestlers saying and something I lean towards, they're saying, hey, that's on that company. Why did you allow a non-worker in the ring?
Talk about that.
And so there's a lot of different places to put this blame. And I feel like when Syco Stu comes to, he's already there. But once he gets healed up and he's able to talk with his lawyer and talk with different people and try to add up their, what to do next, that nigga gonna sue Rampage. That nigga gonna sue the company he was working for. That nigga's gonna sue the W. He'd be a blue fool if he didn't sue the WWE. Exactly. That nigga's gonna sue motherfucking Gorgeous George, nigga that created angles in wrestling. He's gonna sue Gorgeous George's estate, nigga. He gonna sue fucking Hulk Hogan's estate, nigga. Fuck out of here, nigga. You make this shit too popular. That's why I got my ass whooped. And so, like, there was, and we could, like I said, I don't want to go too in depth on the details of wrestling, but there was very many mistakes and avoidable issues that happened that led to this moment. And there was a great many misunderstandings. If I go up to a regular person on the street and I slap them in the back of the head, oh, it's just a prank. Oh, I'm so sorry. Here's $500, bro. I'm just joking. And they take the $500 and they're like, man, I don't understand. Oh, I'm just joking, bro. And then my boy goes up to him and says, hey, man, get him back, man. Give him his receipt. Yeah, that's how we do in this business of YouTube. We give him receipts. Get over there and tag his shit. And he comes up and punches me in the back of my neck and hits my brainstem. And I fall out on the ground, shaking like, who's at fault there? Are you going to say, oh, he accepted the $500, he shouldn't have did that? There's a lot going on in that particular situation. He slapped you in the back of the head. You shouldn't have punched him. Nah, man. There's a lot going into that. You have to understand, where do we place the blame? Like, oh, that's the other piece of people that's going to get sued. That's the other biggest piece of the pie. Kick is going to get sued. If I was Syco Stu, I'm suing Kick. I'm suing the whole platform, B. Why did you show this on your stream? Why did you allow this? Why is this guy on the stream? Why are you allowing violence on your stream? The whole reason why Kick was created is because Twitch, or what's the other one? Is it Twitch that everybody's on?
Twitch is the one.
The main one, right? Twitch won't allow you to do. They're very strict, and they'll ban you for the slightest shit. Kick was created because they will allow more shit. Like, hey, we have less rules, more freedom. And what happened last week? Did you hear about the French guy who died?
I started looking into the story, but I didn't hear the whole thing.
I'm not going to explain it on this one. We could talk about it on another one. But basically, they were basically torturing this guy. The same kind of like Bam Margera beating up his father on camera. They were doing it to this French guy. The French guy was, funny enough, a former soldier. By the way, Disco Stu, what's his name? Syco Stu was a former soldier for the U.S. And they're both veterans, except this French guy was a little slow. And these people took advantage of him and was paying him to abuse him on stream. And they were doing stuff like starving him. They were doing stuff like he was a cigarette smoker, and they were doing stuff like taking his cigarettes away and giving it back to him, letting him have a cigarette if he completed some of the task. They would task him to go beat up random people or go slap people or whatever like that. And then they would use that as a justification to slap him. Like, oh, you slapped him, but you're not going to let us slap him. And so on his final day, they were doing a 10-day stream marathon. And he didn't want to do it, right? And so he texted his mother, "Ma, I'm stuck in this death game. I feel like I'm being kidnapped. They won't let me leave." This is what he wrote to his mother. And then they were on stream saying, "If you don't do this, we're not going to be your friend anymore." Because sometimes the guy would fight back. "We're not going to be your friend anymore. We're not going to give you money," because he was broke. And then they would do like this, give him praise and heap like love and friendship and camaraderie on him, and then say, "We'll take this away if you don't keep doing it." And because he was slow and lonely and not really in the money, he was letting them do this to him. He was being exploited. And Kick knew about this, and they had many, many complaints about it, and they never did anything about it. Even the fucking France government told, "Hey, we don't condone this," before it happened. And then they went on a marathon and they fed him some pills, and he died in his sleep. And they were abusing him, and to wake him up, what'd they do? They threw a can or a cup at his head. It's so fucking eerie how it mirrors this situation. So he died in his sleep, and the guy threw a cup at his head to try to wake him up, and he wouldn't get up. And then the police came and they took his body away. This happened in France on Kick. And then a week later, a kid gets hit with a can, and it starts off a series of events on Kick where a guy gets beaten damn near to death. So what is wrong with society where we think everything has to be put on camera? What we're doing right now, he turned the camera on. I'm filming what I have to say about this. Then we're going to turn the camera off. Because everybody doesn't need to be involved in your intimate thoughts. Everybody doesn't need to be involved in your intimate life. It's not, and if you're amused by that, that's not real life. Go outside. Live your own life. You see what I'm saying? Live your own life. Like, we've lost, don't let me get into it, but we lost art of shit. It's just like, turn the camera on and let's just do the mundane. Let's live your life for you. It's like a real life Sims, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like Kai Cenat don't know shit about music, but most kids tune into him to get his reaction to the music instead of listening to it their fucking selves. They going with their own reaction. Don't get me wrong. You want to hear somebody who can articulate their thoughts and put it in succinctly in a way that you agree. That helps. But at the same time, like, is it to the point where you want their reaction on everything? When it leaves, it just, there's something weird about it. There's something weird about it, right? It's something weird about non-stop streaming, all right? Tuning in for 5 minutes to hear what someone got to say about a particular topic, that's a whole different thing. So that's like watching the news. You're hearing what someone has to say about the news. They're reporting the news to you. But if a nigga is just fucking sitting there and like, "Chat, what am I going to do now, chat? Oh, chat, I'm going to turn around in my chair, chat." There's something weird about it, man. And just because it makes money, it doesn't make it right. In-stage capitalism, nigga. They're literally to the point where niggas is profiting off death. There's money in the death of people. There's always been money in the death of people, but like streaming it live, we used to have a line, my nigga. We used to have a line. I don't know what the fuck is going on now. But we could get into it more. So just to recap, I am not saying that Raja Jackson deserves any special treatment. I'm not saying that justice shouldn't be served. Take him to the law, take him to court if that's what it comes to. Charge him, take him to court, and let's see what happens. But what I am saying is, if he was your nephew or he looked like you would have a little bit of empathy for the situation that he went through, knowing all the details. That doesn't stop your empathy for the victim in the situation. But let's not be so callous. He's not a serial killer. He's not a school shooter. He's someone who made a very poor decision that could happen to a lot of different people that I know personally, including myself. It's people who black out and see red and go too far in a fight. I've seen it happen. I frequent MMA gyms. I frequent boxing gyms. I've seen people get into a fight while they're sparring, while they're supposed to be practicing. And I've seen people go too far and beat the other person down and have to be pulled off of people. It happens in the wrestling business. I'm not going to go into details now, but there's numerous examples of people going too far and taking liberties and severely injuring other people. This is part of the world that we live in. It doesn't mean that you're free from consequences, but have some compassion for everyone involved. This kid is not just this. Raja Jackson is not just this incident. He's a 26-year-old kid that has 26 years worth of things making him a human being, making him worthy of compassion, worthy of empathy. I'm not saying you don't serve justice to him. He gets what's coming to him. But if it's my daughter does something wrong, I give her her punishment, and at the same time, I show her love. And that's what I'm saying you should do. And if you don't want to do it or you feel like he's not worthy of it, ask yourself, do you think he's subhuman? Are you not seeing him as a person, and are you seeing him as a villain out of a TV show? Or worse, are you a fucking racist? Because this story has given a lot of room for racists to peek their head out. Yeah, this has nothing to do with a misunderstanding. This has everything to do with those kind of people. And I see them speaking in codes on the comments. I see a lot of racist motherfuckers on the comments. We'll get into that too. A lot of people calling him an animal. I don't appreciate that shit. I don't appreciate that shit at all. Because that's what they call us when they want you to look at us and not give us empathy. They call slaves animals. They call Native Americans animals, savages. They made them less than human so that you wouldn't empathize when they did what they did to us. It's the same thing here. Don't empathize with this kid, ruin the rest of his life. Take him to court, figure out what the law says, argue your point, let him have his defense, let the jury decide what should happen to him, and let the judge give him a fair judgment, if that's what's going to happen. But then prosecute the company that let it happen, prosecute the people in charge, and make WWE come out their pockets, because all of that is in it. And not to mention, if you know who Rikishi is, he's the person who owned the company too. He wasn't there that day. But there was a lot of failures and a lot of safeguards and a lot of ways this could have been rerouted. And unfortunately, nobody stepped in and do anything. Even the fucking referee, which is a whole nother story. But people were blaming that ref. Why did you stand there and look? But professional wrestling is dying. And the art of professional wrestling is dying. And that's why all this was allowed to happen. That's something we'll get into later. But yeah, that's my initial thoughts on Raja Jackson. I'll probably have a couple more videos about it. That's good.